they called themselves being like everyday Bible workers in the community, staying in touch and engaging with a number of families, bringing other ladies that had kids, boys around that was active. And while they having us co-mingle, thinking we're going to be having a Christian influence on them, a lot of times
they have an influence on you.
The exact opposite influence.
Exactly.
And I don't think they was like really aware of that or paying attention to that.
Coming up in private school, I mean, do you think that like was because you still, I'm sure, even growing up, because I know you grew up in South Central and you grew up in Compton. So even once you leave the private school and the church, you know what I'm saying, you still are exposed to the element. You still got to go to the neighborhood and be out there playing and doing what you got to do.
Outside of being bused back and forth to school in and out of Compton, I had an ironic experience. Like I said, my mother was a single mother. I'm her only child. However, my father's been in my life my whole life. And my mother had a house right down the street from Tragniew Park. Tragniew Park had public basketball courts available. But like the court was like gravel and the rims never had nets. As soon as they get up, they get snatched down. The rims were bent. They was raggedy. And my father, trying to be a good absentee out the home father, do all he can for your son, he took it upon himself one year as a gift to put up a brand new snapback basketball court over our garage at my house. And it turned into, my mama, while she was trying to protect me from the elements in the environment, her process was, as we went in and out, we wouldn't go out the front door. She'd go through the garage, get in the car, raise it with the power thing. We drive out, we come home, the garage would come up, we go in, enter the house that way. And it started once my daddy put that basketball court up, we'd be coming home and all the neighborhood kids would be on my grass, on my yard playing basketball. They used to scatter. And then a few would still linger and she never would trip. So they start gathering back. And then, so I learned, I had all the kids, all the boys in the neighborhood used to come to my house to play basketball on this court that was better than the ones at the park. And these kids turned out to be the Tragniew Crips. So without me ever banging Tragniew, I have very tight childhood friendships and bonds and relationships with the majority of the ones from my generation. And then that just is kind of like part of the story of how my access to the streets took place at home. Outside of that, like I say, my father was in my life my whole life. And I have older brothers that occupied his home. I wasn't his only child.
Gotcha.
And there was no religious influence or restrictions in place over there. So,
and he was in South Central.
Yes, on the east side of South Central, borderline Watts. So,
but let me ask you a question real quick. So just for my edification, so Seventh-day Adventist, what is that? How's that different
Seventh-day
from?
Adventist in most cases is just like Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian. All of those denominations have distinctions. That's why they're different. However, they all fall under the umbrella of Protestant. And historically, Protestant religions came out of the Reformation age when Catholicism was being, I guess you would say, considered as restrictive and totalitarian over everybody. There was a whole group of religious people that didn't want to be under their reign anymore, and they became the Protestants at whole. And Protestant is like the root word is protesting against the Roman Catholic Empire and its rule, Catholicism in general. So they branch out to a number of different religions who the vast majority go to church and worship on Sundays. That, everybody just say, if you say the Lord's Day, typically you say Sunday is the Lord's Day. However, the Seventh-day Adventists as a group believe that the Lord's Day is the seventh day of the week. In our society, the seventh day is Saturday. The first day is Sunday. So one of the main distinctions between Seventh-day Adventists and the average Protestant denomination is that they worship, honor, and keep Saturday, the Sabbath, holy versus Sunday, like the majority of Protestants.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, that's the main distinction.
So they go to church on Saturdays?
On Saturdays, yes.
Oh, okay.
And they do more than just go to church. They honor the Sabbath, which means Friday evening when the sun sets, you cease doing anything secular.
Okay.
That time from Friday evening sunset until the sun sets the next day on Saturday is supposed to be totally dedicated to spiritual connection, communion with God. No buying, no selling, no
But they're Christians or
Christians indeed.
Okay.
Well, Christianity is the umbrella.
Okay.
That
And then under
falls.
Christianity, you have Catholicism and Protestants. Then it separates under the Protestants. There's a whole bunch of sects of Protestant Christians. Yeah.
Got you. So that was enforced in your mother's household.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed.
Okay.
To an extreme degree, some would say, like, even being involved in youth sports coming up, all the sports activities were church-based related.
Wow.
I never was a Boy Scout, but I had a time being a Pathfinder.
Yeah.
That's a similar organization that is affiliated with the church.
Yeah.
They go camping, but it's co-ed, however, boys and girls. And but my mother's effort to do what she thought was the best thing was to keep all my activities kind of tied into that environment.
Yeah.
But even in that environment, my church was in Compton.
Yeah.
So
still got street poison.
Yeah, like some of my friends, and we could walk from church to their house, and some of them went to public school. And then also one thing my mother, her sister, loved them dearly did, which probably was a disservice to their overall goal. They called themselves being like everyday Bible workers in the community, staying in touch and engaging with a number of families, bringing other ladies that had kids, boys around that was active. And while they having us co-mingle, thinking we're going to be having a Christian influence on them, a lot of times
they have an influence on you.
The exact opposite influence.
Exactly.
And I don't think they was like really aware of that or paying attention to that. A lot of times, me and my cousin, we would be at my aunt's house while they would be in there conducting a Bible study. And he and I would want to be gang members at the time to where we didn't really realize what neighborhoods we lived in. But we would get a hold to a can of spray paint and go outside and spray paint on the wall. Gangs that don't even get along. And we didn't even know no better.
Wow.
And we'll see the next day a certain gang would come cross it out and we'd be like, oh shit, we fucked up with that one. They don't even like each other. Yeah, things of that nature.
Yeah. So I can probably ascertain at this point that you were probably a good student. You probably got good grades. Above average.
I was above average. I graduated high school with a 2.8 with giving very little to no effort.
Right.
So you can meter. Yep. You can I could have been a 4.0 or I could have done exceptionally well, but
same shit.
I never prioritized school, never gave the effort. And then when I stumbled up on average and you look back and you're like, you could have.
Real shit.
And
that's crazy, man. Indeed. We got like parallel stories. That shit crazy as hell.
I'm noticing that, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I hate to be a Me Too ass nigga, but if you keep forcing it on me, I'm gonna keep it at Google and say Me Too. Yeah.
I'm holding court, standing trial. Why ain't I see you round back when I was down? Karma's on the way. What goes around comes around. Karma's on the way. There's nothing you could do now. You gotta pay.